It's good to be down here. I do like getting out, especially getting some billboard ideas coming down here to Lafayette.
Well, you're going to see plenty of those, my friend. Rarely in the human experience do people over-deliver, right? You normally have to call 3, 4, 5 times for them to do something.
We're just normal people who happen to be lawyers doing injury work.
Hey, this is Chaz Roberts. I'm a personal injury lawyer. It's my passion to bring the law to the people, and that's the purpose of this podcast. You're listening to Law Have Mercy.
Dude, you want to spice up?
You are listening to Law Have Mercy.
On today's podcast, I'm very excited. I am hosting a friend of mine, Max Antony. He is also a personal injury lawyer, and we have a lot in common. We're both from a small town. We both worked in the criminal side, even though we're on opposite sides. He's got some hobbies, some cool hobbies. He's a family man. He's very smart, knows a lot about personal injury, running a law firm. So I'm super excited to have him here. He came all the way to Lafayette to be here. So what's up, Max?
Man, it's good to be in the big city.
Yeah, is this a big city for you?
Oh, yeah, big city. Our big city where I'm from Manicocca. That's where that's where I live. My family is. We live on Vernon Lake out there. We got less than 1,000 people in our town. And the big city to us is Leesville with a population of 9,000. And if we want to get crazy, we go into Alexandria. That's the real big city for us. But it's good to be down here. I do like getting out, especially getting some billboard ideas coming down here to Lafayette.
Well, you're going to see plenty of those, my friend. You're going to see plenty of those. You will not see my face on one, however. I have not. I know you.
You're going to have to explain that to me.
Yeah, well, you have to explain to me. You like having a billboard?
Okay, so billboard. I've never got a client that got in a wreck, and the only reason they called me is because they saw my billboard. I believe, and again, I'm 2 years into this game. You can probably ask some other more advanced what they think and the actual science behind it. To me, it's like a ping factor. It's just a reminder, like top of mind brand awareness. It's never been a direct response for me, but it is something, especially where I'm at. You kind of become a local celebrity because people see you every day on their commute to work, when they're going to sporting games with their kiddos. I think it's something that they can't miss, right? We do everything, social, radio, at all, but the billboards just has that ping factor, and so you're always in people's top of mind, not direct response. So,
have you noticed people recognize you when you go to restaurants or football games or whatever?
Yes.
And was that weird?
A little bit. It's like I said, I'm not just a normal guy out there. But you do I'm not a celebrity, but they just know you.
Right.
And then especially I didn't realize it'd be with like the high school students, and all the small schools around there. We got some shirts that we give out, and all my clients get a Max Out shirt, but we do give some to the sporting teams. And then like most people know me, my family from this area is very heavy into sports, so they know the last name. And I was the third of 2 older sisters who played collegiate sports. One at LSU during their heyday, one at Tech when they were
What
good.
Sport?
Basketball. Yeah, so my sister Katie played at LSU from 06 to 08, whenever they were doing their Final Four runs.
That's Simone Augustus.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then my older sister Ashley played at Louisiana Tech in 99 to 02, and they had some number 1 and 2 ranked teams.
So do you have some basketball skills too?
I do, but I'm 5'8" and can't jump, so I played baseball. So I played a year at ULM and then realized that I need to stick to the books and not to the field. But yeah, it is cool to be a local celebrity, especially it's kind of just to rephrase what I do, because everybody knew my family as a basketball family. And I don't like doing that because in conservative parts where I'm from, ambulance chasers, I don't like that connotation. I'm just trying to change that. And people ask me, why do you do that? And now I don't even have to really say it so much anymore because of how we handle ourselves and how we handle our clients in the community. But I can't help people if they don't know what I do. They may know me, but I want them to know Max, and that Max is an injury lawyer. And if I get in a bind, I can go to him.
Yeah, I struggle with that stigma for a long time.
It's tough, dude. And so I try to be careful in what I put out there, because I just know I have to do something, because if you don't know about me, you can't hire me, I can't help you.
Right.
And I feel like we do a really, really good job of helping people, because in the time that they need it. But in today's world, almost 80% of the billboards around here are lawyers. And so, but I try not to be, kind of over the top, because that kind of reinforces the stigma. But I do, I want them to see me.
It's such a fine line.
Dude, it's hard, and there's no tutorial.
There's no tutorial, and you just, and sometimes I see personal injury lawyers, some of the commercials or billboards or whatever, and it makes me kind of squirm, and I remind myself, wait, I do that too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I think that way, certainly the average person would.
And I think, Chaz, well, one, so yes, billboards definitely work. It is a very, it's a fixed expense, because typically on those billboards, a lot of people don't tell you, it ain't month to month. It's usually locked in for at least a year. And so when I was telling you earlier, we sold our real estate portfolio for us to do this venture and to try to go all in.
Yeah, you were telling me that before we started rolling.
Yeah, dude.
So you put your whole.
We bought 16 billboards, paid in full for a year. Roll the dice, man.
Yeah, and you had built up a real estate portfolio, and you and your wife made the decision to sell it all,
right, to
support your law practice,
right.
And so you said, "Here it is, baby. Chips on the table."
When I say all in, and that's what people don't realize, it's kind of hard to do an injury, right? If you're going to start a law firm. You just can't say, hey, I think I'm going to do that. And, it costs money. You got to be, my wife, she is a great mother. She stays at home and works inside the house, takes care of the kiddos. It takes everybody. Like, even my little girls and kids are wearing Max Out shirts, baby. Megan supports us. It's a whole, we're all in this. But it takes money. It takes time. And if in the injury game, if you don't have any money and you just want to start even out of law school, good luck.
Good luck. You better come from a family of 20 and have 1,000 first cousins.
Yeah, because it's very grueling. So I didn't realize a lot of things. First of all, I didn't realize for billboards, there's a market for billboards. It's like the stock market. When I first bought my first 17, that was during the height of COVID. Prices, everybody had money. And so the prices were extremely high, but I've never bought a billboard before, so I didn't know what 17 billboards cost.
So you're bidding against other people?
Yeah, I was like, I want that one, let's just do it. And then I was paying a premium. And now that I've been doing this for a while, I realized that especially now, lawyers, if you're out there, billboards, prices have dropped. Businesses, there's less money, I think, in...
Less money in the system versus...
Well, there's not, and I think what...
People aren't driving any less. It's just less money in the system going to billboards.
Right, and I think because people who buys billboards, right? Businesses marketing their services,
dealerships, and right. We got a dealership expert right here. Dealerships and lawyers.
Yeah, and so these businesses during COVID, they did receive money. A lot of them, if they did whatever the government programs they were doing, but there was a lot of money infused during that time. And when businesses have money, and they want to, hey, I'm going to use this money to market more. So during that time, everybody was buying. I couldn't get a billboard, and I had to get them in different locations at different times to even get 17. Like, there wasn't any available because these businesses had them leased up. But now I'm negotiating, going back through our billboards, and now the prices have dropped 33% than what I paid 2 years ago. And there's so many available that, I couldn't, it's not in my budget to get all the ones that are there, but compared just to 2 years ago, like, the market is just so many available. But what they don't do is every billboard that's available, they don't put, hey, it's available. Because the billboard companies don't want you to know that they got a lot of free space. So, but anyway, that's one thing they don't teach you, that there's ups and downs even in the billboard market. And if you don't know what things go for, ask around, because it's a big difference.
So you worked, I believe you worked for a defense firm, and you were also a prosecutor, and then you made the switch to become a personal injury lawyer?
Yeah, so I did insurance defense right out of law school. I did that in Dallas for a few years. I went to SMU Law School. And then I came back to Louisiana, worked at a large defense firm in Alexandria, Gold Wings.
I've had some cases with them.
Yeah. And so...
That old bank building, right?
Yeah. Old bank and old insurance. They got gorgeous offices.
It's a beautiful, beautiful building.
Yeah, so I worked there for a few years, and then I left that firm to go to the DA's office and started my own firm at the same time. So I was working district attorney and Antony Law Group, and I was also the city attorney for the city of Leesville at that time. So I left the private corporate defense firm and then came and came back to Leesville and did
Were
my own thing.
You were forced to do divorces and wills and all that other stuff, or?
Well, every lawyer that kind of put their arm around me and said, Max, welcome to Leesville. This is what you're going to do. You're going to do child support cases. You're going to do all family law. You're going to do a lot of successions. Now, you're not going to do criminal defense because you're a prosecutor, obviously, but you're going to have to do a little bit of everything. And so I had one divorce case that had a kiddo in it for some child custody. That one case, after doing this, I said, I will never do that again.
Yeah.
So
it took me 2 years to figure that out.
Yeah, well,
but I just needed the money. So
well, hey, at that point, I had a young family, and I was doing what it takes to pay our bills and support them. So, but as time went on, I realized what I liked to do and wanted to do, and nothing against family lawyers. Especially where I'm from, by Fort Polk Military Base, a lot of work. God bless them. They do great, but it's
no, we're not knocking them. This is utmost respect.
No, for what you do,
and you have a special place in heaven.
Right.
You have patience of a saint. You are an amazing person. I can't do it.
And I was not great at it, to be honest, in that first case, because it was just a lot of emotions and just things that your clients, they have all these, kind of back and forth. A lot of, especially when you deal with kiddos and who's going to get to keep them. It's just a lot of extraneous things that I'm just not suited to handle.
No.
And I would not have been a good family law attorney.
At least in personal injury and even criminal defense, whether you're prosecuting like you did or defending on my side, right? So there's going to be a winner and a loser.
Right.
Personal injury, you can help someone, all right? It might be a knockout, knock it out the park. It might be a smaller win, but you're going to have a win at some point, hopefully. Family law, from jump, the way the law is written, the way it's worked, you're taking one thing and dividing it into two. Yep. Okay, and we're fighting over the stuff in the middle. Oh, by the way, you have to pay a lawyer. You have to pay a lawyer, right? Our clients don't pay us up front. They don't have money to pay us up front. They pay it out. The insurance company basically pays for them.
Right.
Right. So it's such a better system, a better layout for client relations between the client and the lawyer versus family law.
And you get some finality, you get some closure, like at the end of an injury case when, we can get their medical bills paid for them and get them paid directly for having to go through all that. You can walk away and hey, it's over, and they can go about and get on with their life. But with that type of work, it's never over. Even if you go to court, hey, you're coming back for contempt. They didn't pay. They sold the truck without permission. They didn't refinance the house. There's just so much extraneous stuff, and they're never. It's hard to be happy because it's not necessarily with you as the lawyer. It's like, hey, my situation in life, having to deal with the potential ex and some kiddo. It's just a lot.
It's never ending.
It's never ending.
Even at 18 years old, it doesn't end sometimes.
It keeps going. So
yeah, I'm gonna make you laugh. The guy that was washing our vehicles, I have a kid, Bowman, great kid. He details cars, so I had him come clean our team members' cars today. And I walked outside. I said, "Hey, man, how you doing? How's everything going?" He said, "Man, Chaz, I see a lot of smiling faces walk out today. Friday's payday. The clients come pick up their settlement checks."
Oh, dude, that's awesome, man.
We shake hands, we give hugs, T-shirt, whatever. They get their check, go to the bank, and everybody's happy.
Dude, that's what's again, and it's at the end. Like I said, you get that finality. They get their check, and I love that idea about having it on Fridays.
We did it just because it's a batching thing, right? It's easier for our accountant to print the checks and because there's a steady flow of people coming in, get things. And personal injury is all about spinning plates, right?
Yep.
You have however many cases you have, and something's always happening. So you're spinning.
That's a good analogy. Friday
is a day that they can come in and we can spend some time and shakes, because most lawyers don't work on Fridays, right? Or at least not Friday afternoon. So it's a good day for them to come in and have a good.
I love watching your IG Friday check signing videos. You need to bring those back, man.
Kaylee, I have one filmed from last week. We need to post that.
Yeah, I like that.
Give Max the credit on that one.
No. Because
you just got to come up with a banger song.
Oh, well, hey, I don't know if you've heard the Max Out rap song, but I got a guy. I got a guy.
So how did that happen? You came up with your own jingle?
Yeah, so everybody was always saying, hey, these different lawyers got these little jingles, Max. Why don't you come out with a catchy thing? And I was like, all right. So me and I got 3 kiddos now, but I got my 2 older girls are 7 and 5, and so we're trying to come up with my wife Megan. Every night we were trying to come up with a jingle, and then we had a few, and then they're like, "Yeah, it's really not you," and I'm just even though we're a good old country boy, we still like a little hip hop.
Yeah, for sure.
It's, me and my wife for sure. But so anyway, so we had a guy who does our media stuff. He had a contact with a guy. He's not even a full-time rapper. He like does it on the side. And I was like, "Hey man, drop me a beat and a line for the Max Out song." So then he like looked at my social, and he said, "Hey, can you give me some input?" And I was like, "Well, whatever you feel, just do it." And he threw some stuff, and we like it, man.
Yeah. Did you have to narrow it down? He gave you some options.
Well, he dropped a big beat with a lot of different lyrics, and we just kind of, with lawyer advert, we can't say some of the stuff that you're saying, even though I think it's cool and it sounds dope, but we can't, do certain things or make certain representations in advertising. And so we had to cut it out to make it, that'll fit the guidelines, but it was a fun process, man.
Yeah.
And that's what I love, Chaz, about like the injury, like what we do. This area of law, it's not fun because we deal with people when they get injured. A lot of times it's the worst part of their life. They're having to get through something. Like we were talking about when you doing Check Friday, we always try to have a little light at the end of the tunnel. But part of the lawyer aspect of it, not necessarily the client and what they're going through, but just the practice of law in this injury space, especially being plaintiff's lawyers, it's just more of it seems like the vibe that I also get from you and other injury lawyers, it's just a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more relatable to the average person. We're just normal people who happen to be lawyers doing injury work. And so plaintiff lawyers get a rap, good or bad, for a lot of different reasons, but, I like to think we're cool.
Yeah, well... that remains to be seen on my part. But, the reality is what they don't see is we've cried with our clients. We've gone to the hospital with our clients. We've helped their families.
Right.
We've received those phone calls with fatalities where there might not be any insurance or a minimum policy, right? Because it just so happens that the drunk driver at 2 a.m. that does something really, really bad that leads to a significant injury aren't always the most financially responsible and get enough insurance. And you and I can talk all about uninsured motorist coverage later. Yeah. Maybe we'll have the whole separate podcast.
Here we go.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
They're tired of hearing about that.
I beat that to a drum as well.
But I like the way that you put that. It's like, but we're also parents. We also like cars. We also like to box. We also like to run. And those are just little elements that we're giving of ourselves and putting out there that we're just humans too, man.
Yeah.
And that helps us tell your story.
Right? Exactly. Because, especially where I'm from, I think it's everybody. You don't want to go clients and just people who are needed services. A lot of times they don't want to, depending on what it is, but if you're a common person that needs you're either injured in something, or you just say you need like a succession or something simple, like it's intimidating to go up to a lawyer dressed to the nines and suit and ties, and they kind of look down upon you a little bit, or they get that perception. It's just clients, it seems like I've always had better response. It's like, look, we're the same. I just went to school and this is what I do for a living. But me and you are the same person, just, like what you're going through. That could as easily happen to me. I live, 6 houses down. We're just normal people. And I think, Chaz, what's made our firm, and again, we got a long way to go, but I think what's helped us just grow so fast and help so many people is that through the advent of social media, a lot of people that follow us, they can see like, dude, Max is just like a normal dude. Like, he's good at what he does, well educated, very smart, all this stuff. But like, dude, I can go to court with you. We can litigate with the best. We can do our pretrial stuff. But like, if I can show up at your house. I was in Natchitoches or in Provençal yesterday at a lady's house, because all my clients I like to see in person, which is, you would think that's normal, but nowadays it's not. But just, I walked up in there, shorts and a polo, said, hey, what's up? Just sat there on a stool beside her as she laid in her chair. But but social media allows them to see kind of behind the curtain, a peek behind the curtain, that we're just normal, somebody with a, little expertise.
That's one of the reasons that drew me to Chaz when asked him about potentially collaborating and making a podcast together. I've been watching his feed for several months on Instagram, and I see the authenticity behind it. And in today's media landscape, kind of what you're talking about, especially on social media, that's what consumers crave, is that authenticity, because there's been so much bullshit pushed on people for several years that they've had enough. And that's why I love what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like we're just people too, and show that.
Yeah. Just like you would hire an electrician to wire your house, like hire me to do your legal stuff. And this is what we do. Like I said, we're not a general contractor. We're very specialized. But we just get it seems to just be more relatable, and the more comfortable people feel, and the more that you do what you say you're going to do during the life of the case, the more they trust you, the more that y'all's interest is aligned. And a lot of times it's easier to get cases resolved, or have clients that will listen to your advice if they trust you. And authenticity in that whole process is one piece of that, I think.
When I tell people, like, when it's check day and they see the disbursement and it knocks their socks off, I see the look of amazement, right? Not only the dollar figure. And I said, you're looking a certain way. I said, is it because you're not used to somebody telling you something, promising something, and over delivering? Is that what you're? And I know that sounds like I'm
No, you're not self-plugging. You're good. That's
plugging.
true.
But it's like, and I think about myself. I'm doing a renovation. I think about the plumber and electrician. Rarely in the human experience do people over deliver in anything, right?
It's
you normally
rare.
have to call 3, 4, 5 times for them to do something. We're just texting them out of the blue. Hey, how you feeling today? How you doing? What's going on? If they have a question, we call them back and give them an answer.
Exactly.
That's a rare experience, right?
It is.
Even dealing with the doctor's offices, it's not. We set them up with some of the best doctors around. I'd say the best doctors around, but still, there's a lot of people. They don't. Sometimes they feel like a number.
Right.
That's just healthcare today. That's a whole different
Yeah,
subject.
it's a whole other can of worms.
But rarely do people say what they mean what they say, and deliver.
Exactly.
After 9 months, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, a case can go. I stayed consistent. I never got off of my course, and here it is.
That's it. Because if you don't hear from your lawyer for 6 months, they call you out of the blue, say, hey, you need to take the settlement. They're like, what? Well, what are you even talking about? And that's why, our team, again, sometimes it's like our clients like, y'all really going to call me every 2 weeks this whole time? And some people, because they're just not, they wouldn't expect, because because not everybody's been in a lot of car wrecks. So their experience with you, they've never been with another injury firm,
right.
But they hear horror stories. Hey, I got in a wreck, or I had a lawyer before and didn't do nothing for me. All the money went to the medical providers and the lawyer, and I didn't hear from him until it was time for checks.
I never understood that. And so do you think that's... do you think that's clients maybe not having a perfect recollection, or do you think that there was a long history of lawyers being complacent and making a lot of money doing the bare minimum?
Never like to talk, again, just lawyers in general.
No, we're not talking. We're not naming any names here.
I'm just saying that I think it's the latter, dude. I think that it's just for so long, maybe lawyers, again, respect the past. I wouldn't be here without everybody that's come before, but they could get away with it. But nowadays you can't. It's
You're
customer
exposed.
service. And if you're not, a lot of people don't have the infrastructure, because if you're a high level lawyer, it's hard to you'd be on the phone with your clients all day. So obviously, even though I personally call my clients, I can't call them every 2 weeks, but somebody from my office, we're touching base with them. But for so long, lawyers didn't have to do that. But now you're not being compared to other lawyers. Like, you're being compared to the Apples of the world. Like I said, Google, like all these like other Starbucks,
I heard that at a conference, and it stuck with me, and I didn't truly understand it in that moment. But now I've come to really understand what that means. It means one click, a package is at my house in 2 days. That means when I touch my lawyer, I want him to touch me right back.
Right. And that's not that they're not comparing you, because again, in our space, not a lot of people get in multiple wrecks. Some do, but typically your client, that's their first interaction with the lawyer a lot of times. And so they don't have nothing to compare it to. So even though you may think you're doing better than other law firms would do for that client, they don't know that. You know, they
have
know
no idea.
they know how when they order their coffee, they walk to the end of the Starbucks line and pick it up, walk out the door.
Yeah.
Right. That's especially the younger. That's what they're comparing it to. So the days of not talking to your clients, I mean, those days are in our game. If you don't talk to your lawyer in 60 days, you better call and make sure they're still your client and then go to another firm.
Right.
Because you have to take it that serious, because anybody that's, really into what we do, as time goes on, you're either going to adapt or you're going to get smaller. And it just seems that the way that this injury thing is going, the people that are doing a really good job, people know about them, they're providing a good service, they're getting good results, they're going to keep getting bigger.
Well, what's cool about, I was telling in the last podcast, I didn't grow up. I met the first lawyer. I was in college. I didn't know any lawyers. I didn't have any lawyers in my family. I'm from a small town. I go to law school. I feel like the dumbest guy there. And then, in law school, they're descendants of lawyers. Their dad's a lawyer, their grandfather's a judge. And I just wasn't around that. And I thought that was such a disadvantage to me. And I guess it was actually for figuring out how to take a law school exam. I had to learn that in my second year, not the first year. Yeah. But in hindsight, it's such a beautiful thing. Not only was I able to tap into untapped markets, right, where there were no lawyers. If I didn't know any lawyers, it means everyone I grew up with didn't know a lawyer.
Know lawyers, right.
But being able to create my own playbook of this is what a lawyer looks like. This is what how a lawyer should operate, not the stuffy suit behind the desk, point your finger at the client, all these formalities that are completely antiquated and unnecessary.
Right. So it's what you thought was your weakness might have actually been your strength.
Absolutely, without question.
Right. You kind of make your own playbook, because, again, even though you're making your own playbook, and you can attest to this just like I can, it's definitely use that as a strength, but it still don't make it easy.
10 years, bro. I was telling somebody that the other day. I'm 39 now. I've been practicing 14 years. Okay. So I'm also, I'm a little philosophical, and I have a certain bit of wisdom about me. I read a lot or listen to a lot of podcasts. I've been around the block.
And you also run a little bit.
I run a little bit. Anyway. I run a little bit. I box a little bit. I play a little golf.
You make me tired watching your stuff.
I know.
Physically. Anyway, go ahead.
I fit it in with everything else. But so I find myself mentoring 20-some-year-olds. I'm like, man, how do I get there? I was like, man, I didn't make any money until I was 30 years old. Maybe later. I didn't make any money, man. I paid the bills, but I didn't make any. I didn't make any money, dude. It's a slow grind. You know what kind of cases I had? The cases that no other lawyer wanted. I had cases that, those lawyers in town that get those referrals and those calls, and they're trying to help the person out, but they don't want to do the work.
Right.
I have a retribution case for you on an aluminum boat. Like, what?
No money.
Zero money, zero. You have to read the law, learn a whole different area of something that you never did. I was doing that for $1,500.
Yep.
I'd spend 50 hours and make $1,500.
Right.
But there's a method to the madness.
Exactly.
I learned. I became a good lawyer. Taking shitty cases makes you a better lawyer, right? And I started developing relationships with clients. Yep. It's just not easy. It's a grind.
It is a grind, and a lot of time it's not for everybody. Like we talked about before, man. Especially, a lot of law school students now. I get hit up a lot more than I used to as we get a little bit bigger. But the traditional path, right? Go to law school, get good grades, go to OCI, hopefully get with a firm. Yeah. And if you don't, then you got to figure out or do something. But it's a lot.
Did you know I worked for a defense firm?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty much the same people, just a couple years apart.
Well, and I think you stayed a couple of years longer. I lasted 9 months.
Hey, at least you lasted 9 months.
I was billable hours, and I did not get along. There was something about doing insurance defense work. Here, find a way to exclude this coverage, right? Review these 3 boxes of documents and something that you know nothing about.
Find a way not to pay.
Find a way not to pay. And then people would call me because they knew I was a lawyer, and I didn't know anything about anything. I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know how to help you, right? And so then I quit that. I started helping another lawyer doing contract work in criminal defense. And then I put my little diploma on the wall, and I was like, and then people cared what I had to say. I was like, nobody cared what I had to say at the defense firm, and they were treating me like a baby. Now I'm actually a lawyer. I'm the same dude. I just got my own office. Right. And it was a cool experience.
Answer me this. Could you go back work for somebody else at another firm?
I am unemployable. I am 100% unemployable.
That's it. You're ruined. And I think we were talking about it earlier. You know, every once in a while, on a Friday, you'd like a paycheck, just a direct deposit hits your account when you're scrolling on your phone.
It would be
nice.
Account.
But that would be nice. But after you've been on, I think, this side of it and you know, running your own show, because people think, oh, I'm gonna be my own boss. What you don't realize is no matter how many hours you were billing, if you had to bill hours, which we don't, you'd probably bill double being your own boss, because if you're going to eat next month and pay your bills and feed your family, you're going to get to work. And now that is motivation more so than a partner saying, make sure you get your 2,000 billable hours this year. You know,
I work way more than 2,000 billable hours.
Oh, God. I would love to bill 2,000 hours. At the time when I was doing it in Dallas, working for insurance defense, and then in Alexandria, I was like, oh, my gosh, never get my hours. Can I bill hours while I'm for billing hours? And said, no, you can't do that.
No.
But now, you know, it's just when you have everything's on the line, and not only for your firm, but your clients, because you know how it is. You get invested in these clients, and they're not just for you to make money. Like your fiduciary duty to them is to take care of them.
That's right.
And whenever you're fighting, not only for your reputation, what you do, and doing a good job at our craft, but for those clients, dude, you're going to do whatever it takes, and whatever it takes time and a lot of hours. So.
And then, like, you obviously believe in your services, and you believe you can actually help people. And so I know you look at marketing from the standpoint of, man, I'm really good at what I do. I owe it to these people to inform them that they have this option of me.
Right.
Because I know I can do the best job for those people. Right. And so with that comes, when Max gets off at 6 p.m., he's thinking about marketing till 10 p.m. till he goes to bed. Right. You're always thinking about ways to touch people and to get into their lives and to.
Yep. And that's what, you know, it's tough, especially in our legal profession. This ain't normal for us to do marketing. I mean, I enjoy doing this, but this is not like something that's, you know, one, they don't teach you this in obviously school, but it's not something that I necessarily enjoy. I don't like taking my photo, getting on a billboard, cutting a radio ad, doing videos for social media. But it's
you're good at it. I don't know
what I did. I hate it. Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, my first 17 billboards that I put up, I've never disclosed this to anybody, but now that I got all my new billboards going up, I can say it now. That photo I took in my living room in front of a green screen with a jacket and tie on in my underwear. So nobody, yeah, it was just waist up, so you can't see it. So I'll see how far this goes. Everyone make fun of me, but no, I'm an introvert, man. You ask my wife, like I said, I don't like doing any of this, but like I feel so strongly that I believe that, and I know you feel the same way. Just be able to help people, that it's almost like I got to do whatever I can to let them know what I do, and at least give them an opportunity, especially if they're local, to hire me, you know, to let me show you what I can. Like, I'm so adamant about it, and it's tough because, like I said, if you come out of law school, I'm going to do personal injury. Are you? You know, you better. It's just because nowadays, with so much money that's being spent and so much advertising, you know, not only do you have to stand out, but you got to do it in a certain way that is reflective upon you and your ability. It's so hard to do, and you do whatever you can to come up with ways that it's not like you got an unlimited budget, right? And so you can't spend $2 million a month like some people to reach everybody. So that way you get creative. But
for me, it's hard to imagine the money that these guys spend. How do they afford the staff to support that, the money on marketing, and the continuity of clients coming through? I just can't get my mind around it. That's serious stuff.
No, it is. It's a lot, and obviously it works.
I mean, it has to work.
It has to work, obviously.
It's been years and years.
And so, and this is the thing that I've been trying to educate a lot of our clients, but also talk with people about, because at first I've always prided myself on not only being an injury lawyer, but an injury lawyer that could take your case, not just settle it, but also litigate it. But, and I don't even have an answer for this, I don't think. As you get more cases, and like I said, we started off at 25 cases, then after year one, we're at 125, and now we're 250 plus. Without extra team and running the firm, you can't. It's almost impossible to be one of the best litigators, trial attorney, and to run your private practice. So I never understood. I was like, oh, they're just a settlement mill. Well, I kind of getting to the point now where you get so many clients, you either have to hire staff and handle both, because me or any lawyer can't do both at a high level with a ton of clients, just because there's not enough time in the day.
Yeah, when are you going to your trial prep courses?
If you're personally meeting with your clients after the wreck, helping them get situated, get treatment, rental car, property damage, get them signed up as a client, get their case going, dealing with the insurance company, and you're doing that, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week with new clients, how are you going to answer some discovery? How are you going to go argue that motion? How are you going to prep for trial? And then you do that 250 times, throughout the year. So that's something that we're trying to figure out the best way to handle that.
I can tell you what I did. I hired the smartest guy I went to law school with.
That's
all right,
yep.
And he's a good friend, and he works for me.
That's
right?
awesome.
And so he's an amazing lawyer, and so it gives me the freedom to do some other things like marketing. But I enjoy working on my own cases. I work on every single case.
And I'm the same way. Like if something goes to, we're not able to resolve it for one reason or another, and it does go to litigation, like I still have to be part of it. Even though I might not be doing a lot of the legwork, we're still making the decisions on litigation, how it's going to work, still client contact, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not drafting discovery. I'm not going to the
but
post
you're still,
office.
right,
but
you're
I'm still pulling the strings.
And the only way we figured it out is just to add people. Like I said, our pre-lit side, we've had to add more people. And our we have a new lawyer starting. Today's actually his first day.
Cool. And you left that valuable training to be here.
That's it. That's it. Anytime I get an opportunity to come hang out with you and be on this, I drop it and do it.
I would have said anytime to not have to sit down and train an employee. I'm like, all right, I got this podcast.
Gotta go. But no, and so that's what we do is, like I said, we're bringing him on to help with the litigation side, just because
awesome.
I just can't. You can only do so much. And the way that we do cases, especially pre-suit, you got to have people because it takes manpower to do it right.
You know what's interesting? I was talking about how I handled all these different cases. So being from a small town, and I just know a lot of people. I can't tell you how many times I've had the phone call, hey, Chaz, can I just pick your brain? All right, you know that phone call.
Oh,
right?
Yes, sir.
And that's numerous times a day. I get people calling me just randomly, hey, it's a property deal. I know you don't do that, blah, 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 blah. Well, several years ago, I found out because they told me that they hired so-and-so for an injury claim and so-and-so. And this happened more than once. And I said, you know what? I'm so prideful about putting myself out there. I'm so protective, I should say, not prideful, protective over putting myself out there because I'm naturally I wouldn't say I'm introverted, but I'm very humble. I don't like being too exposed out there, obviously with the podcast, right? But I made a promise to myself. I said, I'm going on social media and I'm going to put myself out there because I'll be damned if somebody tells me I didn't know you did that, because that's the famous line. I didn't know you did that. No, you didn't know I handle wrecks? I only do shitty retribution law. Of course I handle wrecks.
Yeah.
I've been answering your stupid questions for you've called me 20 times on things I couldn't help you with. The one thing I could potentially really actually get paid for, you hire somebody else. And I was like, never again will I allow an opportunity. I will never allow someone to say, I didn't know you do that. Now, if you don't want to hire me, that's one thing.
That's different.
That's
different.
Okay. Maybe your girlfriend's pushing you somewhere else. That's fine.
Hey, I'm good with that.
That's fine. You'll pay for it in the end. That's not my decision.
Right.
But you're not going to say you don't know what I do.
And that's so funny you said that, Chaz. We had that.
I know you can relate.
I can relate as of yesterday. Crash, 2 older ladies, sweethearts on the way to church, horrible wreck. The passenger comes immediately. Hey, Mac, and so we get them signed up, and I ask, well, what about your passenger? It's like, if I just want to make sure they're getting a lawyer. It's a bad wreck. I want to make sure that she's protected. Love the opportunity to help if I can. And then she called the office, the passenger, and she had hired another firm that she saw on daytime television that's not local, And she said, well, Max, I've known you your whole life. I didn't know you do injury. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Pleasantries. And I said, hey, all good. That law firm did you a great job. I'm just glad you're getting some help. And then when I got off the phone, I just sat there in silence for 5 minutes. And I wasn't upset that she hired the other firm. I'm upset that she didn't know what I did.
Yeah.
And I take that, like you, I take that personally. That's not on her. That's on me. I'm not doing enough to let people know.
It's arrogant. It's arrogance on my part to think that people just know what I do.
Right.
Right.
And how do you let people know what you do? And that's, okay, well, what do you do? But now we just got to use the tools that's available to us. What's available to us? Okay, all traditional media and then some social stuff. Okay, well, I don't want to do that, but I got to. The way that I feel like on the way down here, I saw these billboards and all this stuff. I was like calling my videographer, calling the advertising. I'm just like, okay, I got to get. She didn't know who I was. There's 40,000 people in this parish. I have almost all the billboards. I got to do something else. There's something I missed.
Right.
I'm not on TV. Maybe I need to get on TV now.
It shook you up.
It did, and it's not because to me, it's not like, oh shoot, I missed out on some money. It's I missed out on being able to provide her a service that she deserves after what she went through. Not saying the other lawyer, I'm sure they'll do a great job. You
think you could do better?
I think yes, and I think our team.
I'm saying that because I think I can do better.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to say that out loud because
well,
I don't want to be.
Let me put it this way: no one is going to care about that person as much as I will.
Right.
Right. Because I have that personal relationship, and she's in my community, and I care so much what she will say and how she perceives me that I will make damn sure she gets A plus service. Right.
And what that leads to is, and we've already seen this in our small time of really rocking and rolling with this last 2 years, you do somebody, whatever the result is, not about the money, and that's what I found. It's not whether they get 5,000 or they get $1 million. It's how you treat them and how you made them feel through their time of stress and everything being scary. That's what they care about. And if you do that, you do the best job for them, you keep them updated, you do what we're called upon to do for them in their time of need, they will be your biggest advocate. They will, anybody, call Max. Call Max.
Right. Go out their way.
No, go out of their way. And I've just been so overwhelmed with our past clients. Like, I don't pay people for like all these, like if I got a little army, like on Facebook, oh, hey, I got in this wreck. People are jumping to the comments. Antony Law Group, injury attorneys, call Max. You got to get to, and so as time goes on, time goes on and on, you get these people, but they wouldn't be doing that if you didn't give them just exceptional quality. And so what we do, now that person in the vehicle hired the other person and they're like best friends, now we're really going to hammer down on our client and be, just make sure she gets concierge service, more so than we do already. But anyway, I just get so passionate about it. And again, I'm just trying to change, especially where I'm from, very conservative area, the perception they have of quote unquote ambulance chasers. Because I'm
glad you came back to that.
It's kind of warranted, to tell you the truth.
It's absolutely warranted.
And that's what.
It's absolutely warranted. But you know what? Good people that are doing nothing wrong get hurt in car wrecks, and they're scared, and their nice vehicle, and their neck or their back or their head or what, they can't bring their kids to soccer, they can't bring their kids to school. The insurance company won't return their calls. They can't get a rental car. Their neck's hurting. They don't know where to go. What are they going to do? Go to their family doctor? A family doctor doesn't want to deal with that. Right? They've been involved in a wreck.
Go somewhere else.
They're going to say the insurance company's going to deny it, or I don't want to have to give a deposition. Go somewhere else. Well, I don't think that the average person out there knows who's the best spine guy in Leesville or the best spine guy in Lafayette, right? I certainly didn't before I got into this business, right? So we got to change that misconception, right? I think a lot of it comes from two ways. I think insurance, lobbying, and propaganda have made people feel bad about that because they make more money when people don't file claims.
Exactly.
And I think some of our friends on the bar have not given the best perception of what lawyers are. Right. The big checks and the this and the that on social. That's taken out of context.
Right.
It's taken out of context.
And you're right. The insurance companies, like I said, they market so that you feel bad for, getting what the law allows. And that's what I tell all my clients whenever I'm signing them up as a client. It's like, look, as your lawyer, as your injury lawyer, we're not going to get you anything that you're not entitled to by law. Louisiana law allows this. The insurance companies market and do everything they can to make you feel bad about doing this. But in their eyes, it's the dollar sign. Just like they pay you for your car, if somebody's in a wreck or gets in a fender bender or something, nobody their mama's got a problem with them paying for your car. I was like, and I tell clients, it's the same thing as your body, except your body's more important than a piece of metal.
Way more important.
Way more important. So because I get a lot of clients that say, I'm not one to sue or to get a lawyer over this. I was like, hey, look, first of all, this is your life. It's all different until it's you. Why should you have to pay your medical bills? Why should you have to live like this when you did absolutely nothing wrong? That is a marketing ploy by the insurance company. Just like they're going to pay you for your car, they're going to pay you for your injuries. They just don't want to because it's about the bottom line.
Isn't it also the insurance companies, that's the reason why we say accident instead of wreck?
No, we only say collision or crash.
Collision or crash.
Never say accident.
Accident is an insurance term.
Right, exactly. It's the insurance companies that...
It implies no one was at fault, but someone was at fault. Yeah, it just happens, right? Somebody had to be at fault.
They're good at coming up with keywords, accident, gap in treatment, pre-existing, So we steer away from those.
And we hear it so much that we start saying it.
I know. So we got to check ourselves.
What's up with this gap stuff? You mean she couldn't get in for 2 months at an orthopedic? Yeah, that's not a gap. That's a normal progression of the injury or whatever. No, but look, things that you're putting out on social media, whether it be you and your kids, being a normal person, you out in the community shaking hands. I saw you bought burgers for military guys. This podcast, right? Me bringing lawyers on that have nothing to do with what I do, whether it's trademark or criminal or family, whatever, educating the public and giving legal advice, not legal advice, legal information to people. Right. And I think those are the things that'll kind of bridge that gap, right? And
I think that people who, and as we go on, it'll probably get better, but now I think people are seriously more educated about how it works than they were 15 years ago, right? They just have better access, people talking and giving them some insight or some valuable information where they didn't have that before. And I think that does keep, especially, lawyers just, everybody's got to up their game. But especially with that, with the giving back, this is our people, this is our community. People where I'm from, they've given me the ability to feed my family. My kids go to school with their kids, and so it's given us, my family and my firm and my employees, giving us so much that it's just incumbent upon us. That's just how we are. That we got to give back at least a little something. If you take, it's not good. And besides giving an injury client a check and giving them something to start over, nothing makes me happier than being able to give back because I've been given so much. And so, people say, hey, you're videoing it, so it's a marketing ploy. Look, that's just part of the business that we do. But when you do something, goodness of your heart, and give back, it's just something it's just something special.
It is a marketing ploy. It's a marketing ploy for me to inspire others to give.
Exactly.
How about that?
Exactly. I like that response. I'm going to use that one. That's very true. Because it's a hard way to put it. It's like, I'm filming me doing this, but it's...
Oh, it's true. Like if somebody said, dude, you look like a douche posting videos of you running and boxing and stuff. It's like, yeah, but you don't also see my DMs when people say, hey, man, you're very inspiring to me. I started running.
Exactly.
So I'm going to shake off the haters to inspire some people.
Well,
right?
and there's not a lot of people that are giving more than you are that will tell you that.
Exactly.
There's not somebody writing bigger checks to sports programs, to youth clubs, sponsoring this person's baseball league, doing this. Anybody that's giving more than you ain't talking crap about you. Oh, he's just looking at his filming himself while he's giving out these hamburgers.
Right.
You know, that's just a part of the business. One, so we can write it off as a business expense and a donation. But two, it's like, man, you need to give more, and then let's have a conversation.
Yeah, but that business expense, you could easily cash that money, pay your taxes, and put that in your bank account too.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, look at the guy eating the burger.
Right. No, but I'm saying, like, you know, people say, "Oh, you're just doing that as a business expense." No, I could take the money, put it in my bank account, pay my tax, put the extra in my.
I don't have to spend this money.
I'm still spending money.
It's real money, and
right?
I'm not getting.
It's a business. That's some great.
Dude, I get that all the time.
It's a business expense. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I still spend the money.
I can pay 40 cents and put 60 cents in my bank account.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But you could ask Kaylee. I could have one of those filming videos where I'm cutting checks, and it would just be sponsorships, right? Because I mean, there's stacks of checks.
Yeah.
Youth
Everything.
programs, high schools,
Right.
And it's just.
And you're right. That's so good. It is inspiring, and plus also, you know, if you do that, it does inspire other businesses to say, hey, this is something that I could do. One, it's good for the community. You know, two, it's giving back. And so before all this social media, you know, you got maybe your name on a poster, and it didn't inspire other businesses to say, hey, this is a good idea.
Right.
You know, and I get ideas from watching lawyers from other places, some of their community, like the backpacks, the bikes, all this stuff. It's like, hey, that's a great idea. Let me think of something similar that, because, you know, you get to our point and you do a lot of stuff, and without repeating, sometimes you run out of ideas. And it is good to survey and see what other people are doing. But they've given us, and I know you so much that, you know, give back.
It's our duty.
It is.
It's our duty to be out in the community, and as important as it is to spend the dollar, to spend the time is just as important.
Exactly.
You try. You. I know you're always giving those just kind words to people, words of encouragement, and for me, I'm like, look, I did it. I'm no genius. I did it. You can do it.
Exactly.
You just gotta do some hard work.
Well, I don't know about the marathon. It's going to take a lot of hard work from this dude, but you have inspired me to try to do some more cardio. So
good. Well, you're in good shape, man.
Well, you know, it started. I started jiu-jitsu. I've always wanted to do it. Finally did it. I did not realize. I knew boxing a lot of cardio, and I was like, jiu-jitsu. I think I can do that. Learn some stuff. Dude, I've tapped out more from sheer exhaustion than getting choked out or arm bar. So I did not realize it was so much cardio in that.
I tell you what.
But anyway, you really have done that, especially with the boxing. I'm going to tell you, I'm a huge fan of yours. I see what you do. And even though we're the same age, I really do look up to you, not only for your practice, how you treat your team, like the hospitality you've given me to come into here, but just your extracurricular things that you do and your family that all kind of feed all of that. I think, Chaz, is a recipe that makes you something special, and that's something that I aspire to do just from watching your stuff.
I got goosebumps, bro.
Well, no, you know, no.
Well, you're living it though, man. You're doing it. You know, it's one thing to be inspired, but you're putting it in practice.
Yeah. Well, and I see, and I hope other people, as we get in age, and you and I both hopefully grow what we're doing to be able to help more people. The people that has helped us, I just hope to help those people that come behind us. And I hope to leave the path that we're on in better shape than we found it, even though, like I said, everybody that's came before us, you know, God bless them, because it's the legal world, a lot that goes on, but they've kind of blazed a path for us. But I think as stewards of this, you know, what we do, that for us to hopefully the next set, you know, do better.
I think that's awesome. Look, I just have one thing that I'll caution you on, that I have to remind myself. We make it look easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. That's the one problem I think with what I do, is that people don't understand how hard it is to grind, you know, to eat shit for so long before you start stacking wins, and to be consistent every single day of how you treat your team members, how you treat your clients, being that force that people can, being an excellent father. You know, I'm not calling myself that, but I'm a pretty good dad. But yeah. Being there for your kids, having that work-life balance, you know, to check all those boxes is so incredibly difficult.
And it's exhausting. And again,
And so I want to caution people to where the first time they get, it's a highlight reel. So when you get some losses, don't say, heck on this.
Right.
Say, no, this is what it is.
It's part of it.
It's part of it.
And it took me a while to realize, man, because I get a lot of people like you do probably reach out and be like, man, you're killing it, you're doing great. It's like, yeah, hey, man, I appreciate that. It's been a lot of dark times, homie.
Yeah.
You know, that, you know, it's just tough. Not only just financially, but there's time. There's only so much time in a day, and dude, you get beat up. Like in jiu-jitsu, like I just starting, I'm getting worked. This guy, I'm 225. This 145-pound guy just like, I was like, oh, okay, dude, humble pie. And this whole process, even though that's in jiu-jitsu, but in real life, man, dude, and it's every day. Like what we do, I mean, there's never just like, I never prop my feet up. All right, let me see what's on TV. Yeah, there's just so much. And people just see the highlight reel on social. They see the results that you're getting. They see Max, your firm's growing. You got all this stuff. It's like, dude, you know, it just gets heavy. But, you know, if it was easy, that's why I like the barrier of entry, you know, for what we do. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Everybody would do it. I got two things I learned. I'm gonna give you some time to think. You might have just given it to me. Two things that you learned. I'm gonna tell you a thing I learned from running marathons that apply to practice of law and boxing. And then you might have just given me the best one for jiu-jitsu, but boxing, you know, when you try different things, that's what hobbies are so great at. Yeah. You learn so much about yourself that you can apply to your practice or fatherhood or whatever.
Right.
And I was thinking about, I was like, you know what I learned from boxing is sometimes you just got to let your opponent wear themselves out and throw punches, and you just let them throw, and then you just step aside and bam, bam, knock them out.
Right.
How many times in the practice of law you got that one defense lawyer that just comes out firing out the gate, rah, 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 and you can't match that energy. You just got to sit back and wait for your moment, and then they wear themselves out, and then you hit them.
Then you pounce.
You pounce, right? That was a great thing I learned from boxing. And running, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You know, right. It's a marathon, and sometimes you're stronger than you think you are, and you just got to put one foot in front of the other.
Exactly.
And you'll get through it.
Yeah,
you know?
And I think, and you know this, especially with both the things that you were talking about, boxing and running, it's up here more than this physical body. It's your mentality.
It's so much more mental.
And people have that disconnect, you know, but it really is, it's just mental. And we're talking about the legal space. We're talking about law firms and injury, but that applies to anything, man. Like if you got a car wash business, you know, it ain't easy. Same thing, same principles.
But you better have the cleanest stalls in town.
That's it. That's it. And I was talking to my buddy Keith about this on the last one I did with him. Keith Whitney's a criminal defense lawyer in Monroe. But, like, if you're a car washer, like you said, that thing better be clean. You better get the underneath in the inner fender well, right? You better clean the exhaust tips. You do it all like a professional. And just like professional athletes, all they train, they eat right, they do everything they have to do. And if you're an injury lawyer, no matter what you do, you need to be good at your craft. That's what's important, because you're professional at being a dad. You need to be the best damn dad you can. You're professional at an injury lawyer. You need to be able to have everything and put everything into that if you're doing that serious. And just with all facets of your life, I think that you need to keep that. Like, would Kobe Bryant run the law firm like you're running your law firm, like he plays basketball? Are you at that level? You're not? Well, why go do something else? If you're going to do it, you need to be the best that you can and put all it into it. And that's just the way, some people are different. Some people are probably, it's just different mentalities. But if you want to be successful, I think, I'm not successful yet. I think the thing I'm successful about is making beautiful kids and having an awesome wife. That's what I'm successful at. But all this other stuff,
which is probably more important than any of those things.
It is. But this craft, this lawyer craft, is how they eat, is how they go to school, how they put shoes on their feet, and I take that very serious. So it's my obligation, and I birthed them, I married them, and I'm gonna take care of them, and that ain't easy. And the route that we're going, this entrepreneurial, self-employed, bet the farm, it's not the easy way to go. It'd be a lot easier go to a law firm, bill my hours, get my paycheck. But we're built different. I would rather make less but have the opportunity to grind and grow something special and fail than punch a clock and get a paycheck. I mean, that's just me. People are different. Look, that ain't for everybody. And 90% of people fail. I get it. But that's just the way I'm built.
Like you, I incorporate my kids in the business. Not only post little cute pictures of them on social
Yeah.
media, but they see me working.
Yeah.
I talk to them about what I'm doing. They see some social media videos. They overhear some phone calls that I have with clients on speakerphone. And I look back at them and I see those big eyes looking at me. And I sit back and I'm like, dude, the education that these kids are getting at home, seeing their old man work his ass off to help people.
Dude.
What is that worth? What is that
Priceless.
worth?
It's priceless. And that, I don't know what and I ask people, I don't know what your parents did, but my parents were I didn't have that. I have the most amazing parents in the world. One was a teacher, one worked at the oil field, and so growing up, I didn't know what a business was. I didn't know what self-employed was. All I knew was study hard, get good grades, get a good job. And like you with your kids, like I said, we don't, especially from the business aspect, we're at the kitchen table. That's a topic, because we're all in it together.
We're all in.
And they see, what I do, and they see what, and just as more importantly is what my wife Megan does, taking care of everything at the house. That it is a team, and they're part of the team,
Yeah.
But and it's also with our kiddos. I don't know how we got talking on this, but like we also want to,
Because we love our kids.
yeah. Oh God, and they're part of it. And that's and people have all this stuff, especially on social media, about I need to get inspired. Let me look at these reels, do this. Oh yeah, I'm pumped up. I need no motivation. I wake up and see those kids, dude. I'm working. That's a big part of my why. It's not because I can get them nice crap. I mean, that's not about that. It's about showing them that it's possible, that if you want something, you go all in, you work hard, you can achieve it and take care of your family. And so that's what's important to me. So I never lack on that motivation. And I don't want to push them to do something that I want them to do. I want them to see what daddy and mama are doing and aspire to do that and hopefully better. So I'm pulling my kids, or I try to, instead of pushing them, if that makes any sense. So
Max, we've been going for an hour.
Yeah.
And I could go for 2 more hours.
Well,
but,
dude, I appreciate you having me, man. Like I said, we're the same age, but I really look up to you. And I do thank you for all that you do, because this stuff, you could just as easily be on the golf course, or you could be doing whatever you want to do with your free time. But you choose to do these podcasts. You choose to help people. It'd be a lot easier not to do it. And even though it does get, people know what you do, a lot of the stuff that you do is without wanting anything in return, and that's special, and I do appreciate you, man. So thank you.
Max, you're a very cool guy, man. I appreciate all those kind words.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, all good. Thanks for having me, man.
Nothing but the best, and you're gonna be a huge success, man. I feel it, bro.
Plugs?
Thank you, man.
Plugs?
Oh, I almost forgot. Max, where can they find you, buddy?
Everywhere at Max Out Lawyer. Facebook, so all social media handles, maxoutlawyer.com. Reach out anytime, whether you are, in a wreck or a client or have an injury, but otherwise, if you're like a law school student, if you're anybody that's remotely interested in the practice of law, like Chaz, please always reach out to us. We're an open book. There's plenty of fish in the sea, abundance mentality. So reach out.
Absolutely. Thanks, Max.
Thanks.
Hey, it would mean the world to me if you subscribe to the podcast and leave us a 5-star review. It helps keep the show free, and it helps us book better guests to provide more valuable content to you. None of the opinions expressed by my guests are that of my own, and nothing we talked about creates an attorney-client relationship or could be construed as legal advice. Hope you enjoy the show.
This podcast is powered by Acadiana Cast Network. Go to acadianacast.com for more South Louisiana sourced content.